Alright, the holiday season is now wrapped up, and I have a lot of movie reviews I want to get out to you guys, and I'm going to start with my very overdue review for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is an animated movie that tells the origin story of how Miles Morales became Spider-Man. Yeah! This one's not about an origin story for Peter Parker, it's for Miles Morales, the other Spider-Man that I don't think many people know about. You all know who I am. I'm a massive Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man, he is my favorite superhero. I love everything about him, his powers, what he stands for, who he is as a person and as a hero. I very much enjoyed most of the Spider-Man movies. That's right, I said most of them. So that's why it may also come off as a surprise that I actually didn't have a lot of confidence in this movie going into it. The trailers I saw for it, what it looked like the story was going to be about, it kind of looked like one of those hour-long specials for an animated cartoon that usually gets on TV. And, it was able to get a big kind of push for it, so movie theaters were like, alright, we'll release it into the theaters, we'll make some money off it. That's at first what it felt like. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this movie too much. That being said, as I did a little more research into the movie, when I found out that Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were going to be involved with it, two filmmakers I'm a big fan of, and I saw a couple more trailers, I began to get a little more excited for it. I started to believe in it a little bit more, I should say. And yep, I'm going to tell you guys right now, if I could go back in time to the me that was really shitting on this movie, saying it was going to suck, I would slap him across the face because, yeah, this movie's awesome. Getting right into what works for this movie, I really love the character of Miles Morales, which I think is definitely important because I speak for a lot of people, myself included, that unless you're a really keen fan of Spider-Man, you probably don't know too much about Miles Morales. I mean, Peter Parker is the Spider-Man that I think most of us grew up with. Now we're getting a brand new Spider-Man, one that we're probably not all too familiar with, so the movie has to do a good job of really getting you behind him, and this movie does that. He's a little bit like Peter Parker, he's shy, he's a little awkward, he feels like a fish out of water in the school that he's in, but he does have his traits that really make him stand out. He's very creative, especially with graffiti. This guy's a killer artist. I do also feel he's a bit better socially than Peter was, but where Peter only had really one friend in Harry, Miles has at least a few friends that he's going around doing the bro hug and the handshake with. But also like Peter, he has absolutely no idea how to talk to the girls he likes. I also like seeing in Miles Morales, he's someone who really does admire Spider-Man, thinks he's a hero, Spider-Man exists in this universe, saving New York City. His dad, however, being a cop, he's someone who believes that Spider-Man is a vigilante who shouldn't be doing their job. And so around right here, I also really appreciated seeing the relationship that Miles Morales has with his uncle Aaron Davis. I think we speak for a lot of people. I think a lot of us have that fun aunt or uncle or even older cousin or somebody outside of our immediate family that we like to talk to about things that maybe we don't feel so comfortable talking to our parents or our siblings about. You can tell Miles has that relationship with Aaron Davis, and Aaron Davis, he feels the same relationship with Miles. He tells him exactly what he needs to hear, he encourages him, he motivates him, and then one night Uncle Aaron, he takes Miles out to spray some graffiti because he's encouraged him to pursue that with his art. Except it's on this night Miles Morales gets bitten by a radioactive spider, and he also runs into Spider-Man trying to stop Kingpin from making this particle accelerating machine, because Kingpin is trying to create a parallel universe where he can reunite with his wife and son who had died, and Spider-Man's like, nope, you can't do that because that's gonna drastically alter the fabric of space and time, and basically everything's gonna be destroyed. The little things. So as Spider-Man is attempting to stop Kingpin and his henchmen, he's unable to do that. He ends up getting really badly hurt, and Miles Morales, he's just out hiding from it. He doesn't want anyone to see him in this kind of situation. But after this happens, Miles Morales, he runs into Spider-Man, and Spider-Man can kind of sense that Miles has kind of developed his abilities. So Spider-Man gives him a USB drive that has the ability to turn off the machine. He's like, that machine cannot be turned on again. If it does, basically all of New York is gonna die. He's like, once that machine is turned off, I will come back and I will teach you what you need to know to become Spider-Man, but that can't happen because Spider-Man ends up getting killed just as the machine is stopped. So now, even though the machine was stopped, the entire city just feels empty. They all feel heartbroken because they know Spider-Man's dead now. I really feel for Miles Morales in this moment because he really just feels this level of guilt. He's like, maybe if Spider-Man wasn't protecting me, maybe if I just wasn't there, maybe everything would be okay. It's even right in this moment, he's trying to master his abilities on his own, but he can't do that. He doesn't know what to do. But oddly enough, Miles Morales, later on one night when he's visiting Peter Parker's grave, he confronts Peter Parker once again, but it's a different Peter Parker. It's an older, kind of burnt out, fatter Peter Parker. Because it turns out, just as the accelerator was stopped by the original Spider-Man, it caused a bit of a fabric in space and time, which caused some of these parallel universes to intertwine with the universe that Miles Morales is in, which has led that Peter Parker, that burnt out Spider-Man, into this universe. So at this point, Miles is explaining to Peter, it's like, hey, that USB drive, guess what? That broke me trying to figure out my powers. We have to get that back to turn off that machine for good, because that machine goes on again, all of our universes are gonna die. So with that, Peter's like, alright, I'll teach you what to do. Now from here, it's the old Spider-Man teaching the young Spider-Man how to be Spider-Man. And what I really like seeing right here is Miles trying to become Spider-Man. It's not easy. He doesn't really know how to climb walls, he doesn't know how to detach himself from walls, doesn't really know how to shoot web, which I really appreciate, because in a lot of the Peter Parker Spider-Man movies, when he was developing his powers, he was able to pretty much learn them fairly quickly. Miles Morales is clearly a different character, and that's what I appreciate, because for him, developing his powers, doing what he needs to do, it's very different. It's a lot more difficult for him, and I think that makes Miles Morales his own character. But anyways, the two of them agree at this point, alright, we have to get that USB drive back, so if we're gonna stop the machine, we have something, so we have to go back to the Kingpin's headquarters, we have to find a way in there, we gotta get the information we need, and then we just gotta get out. It is right here, though, that we also discover that Miles actually has some additional powers that haven't really been seen yet in Spider-Man. Like, he can turn invisible, he can electrocute people, which makes things now more difficult for Peter Parker, because he's like, yeah, I don't have these powers, I don't know how to help you here. It is right here, they're confronted by a female Doc Ock, and I actually didn't mind that. I had a feeling like, oh, they're gonna make Doc Ock a woman. These fucking feminazis are ruining shit again. But no, not the case. She was actually a good villain, and I had no problem with her being female. And it's here, she tells the heroes, hey Peter, the longer you stay in this universe, you're going to die. Your version was not meant to exist in this universe, so as a result, eventually you're just gonna cease to exist. So, she's going after the two of them, the henchmen are all going after them, but it's right here, the two of them are saved by some of the other Spider-Men that have been brought into this universe. On one side, you have Gwen Stacy, who Miles Morales got to know a little bit because she's in his boarding school. She is also known as Spider-Gwen. I really like this girl too, not just because she's voiced by Haley Steinfeld, who I'm kind of in love with, but just her attitude. She's spunky, she's sarcastic, she's kind of a loner, and just seeing the friendship she does eventually develop with Miles Morales, it's not really like a love interest or anything like that, but you do see some kind of bond forming between them that is nice. They are two characters who really do need a friend, and it's nice seeing a friendship form there. But no, you also have Penny Parker, Spider-Ham, and Spider-Noir, and now all these Spider-Man have to work together to make Miles Morales become the Spider-Man he needs to be, because only he can activate the machine to send them all back, because if someone else tries to stay behind and activate the machine, they're getting left behind and they'll die. But again, you see with Miles, he's really struggling to develop his powers, to master his abilities, and it's really got everyone questioning, can he do this? I do like seeing it in Peter, though. He's all like, look, I believe in him. He's got something in him. He has potential. We have to be patient with them. I know it's really hard to, but I believe he can do this. But the Spider-Man, they all get confronted by the Kingpin's unit again, and it's right here, Miles discovers that one of these henchmen, the Prowler, is his Uncle Aaron. Well, he actually discovered this earlier in Aaron's apartment, but now it's here, he's gonna take him on one-on-one. It's right here, just as Prowler's about to kill Miles, he's able to unmask him, and he sees it's Miles, and then he's like, shit, you're Spider-Man? Oh man, I can't kill you now. So obviously he ends up sparing Miles, but this one he gets shot by Kingpin for not doing his job, so now Miles just witnesses his uncle get executed right in front of him. Poor kid's having a really rough week. But it's right here, Peter Parker, he tells Miles, he's like, look, I want you to succeed. I want you to be a great Spider-Man, but dude, we've just run out of patience. We're gonna go perform this mission. I'm gonna stay behind. I'm gonna send everyone home. I'll make the sacrifice. I can't risk you getting killed. I can't do it. It's an emotional moment. Like, you feel for Peter, you feel for Miles, it's like, oh, Miles, why couldn't you figure it out? But no, it's right here in this moment. Miles' dad, he comes by to visit him, and, he's telling him just through his dorm, he's like, I assume you know about your uncle's death. I just want you to know I love you, I'm here for you, I'm proud of you. Just a really emotional father-son conversation, even though it's not really a conversation, it's just the father talking to the son, but you know what I meant. What I love about this moment, though, is you see from Miles right here that his dad really does care about him, he is proud of him, he is there for him, and it's something that, it kind of awakens a fire that's inside Miles. It's right here, he's like, I can't stand behind, I can't let them do it, I have to go help them. So he takes one of the old Spider-Man suits, he spray paints a graffiti to make himself his own Spider-Man. He's finally mastered his powers, now he's ready to go help them, and what I love seeing is you can finally see that he's actually mastered his abilities. He's taking on the Kingpin's villains, he's kicking all their asses, and everyone's just like, oh shit, So this is what it's like for you to actually be good. Once again, through the henchman, Miles is able to activate the accelerator. He's able to send every spider person home except for Peter. He's just about to send Peter back, but Kingpin's still coming after them, and Miles says, Peter, you have to go back. I'll take on Kingpin. But what I love is you see right here in this moment, Peter's now afraid to go back into his world because of all the mistakes he's made. He's like, I'm a deadbeat where I'm from. Mary Jane, she won't even talk to me. I separated from her. I still love her though. It's like, what if I go back and nothing changes for me? And you see right here, Miles basically tells Peter what Peter once told him. It's like, dude, sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. I really love seeing that moment because it's kind of like one of those the student has become the teacher kind of moments a little bit. It shows how much Miles has grown. It shows how much Peter has grown connected with Miles. Miles is able to defeat Kingpin. Peter is able to get back to his alternate reality. The machine is now stopped. The city is saved. And Miles' dad and the rest of the police, they see that Spider-Man is now a hero, so they call off this hunt on him. And then the movie ends. Miles accepts his duty as the Spider-Man of this universe, the new Spider-Man of this universe anyway. He still keeps in contact with Gwen Stacy in the other dimension. You see that Peter has now made an attempt to make amends with Mary Jane in their universe. And that right there is where this movie wraps up. So all in all, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, it was awesome. I love the character of Miles Morales. I love seeing the very unique take he brought to Spider-Man. Peter Parker and Miles, they had great chemistry together. I loved seeing the student-teacher relationship that developed between them. All the other Spider-Men were great. Spider-Gwen was awesome. Spider-Noir and Spider-Ham both were hilarious in this movie. So yeah, the movie has a lot of great humor, has a lot of great heart, has a very original story. I love the animation. I love how it was basically filmed to be a comic book come to life. Pretty much. The soundtrack in this movie is great too. Not just that song Sunflower that Post Malone wrote for this movie, but I heard a lot of different songs in this movie that were really good. And yeah, in the end, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has given Ralph Breaks the Internet some serious competition for my favorite animation of the year. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe. I will see you all next time.